getting ahead of your prospect and really let people know exactly what you're about and who you're serving and what problem you're solving. You know, a lot of people, Shane likes to call it boiled chicken. You know, it's a very platitudinal, and it's like I can see that all day long if I'm scrolling in my Facebook feed, if I'm scrolling on Twitter, anywhere, any platform. You know, a lot of people are just following what they saw somebody else do, and it's more of the same. It's almost like every day you're scrolling down your feed and you see people like, sign up for my free webinar. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So let me just kind of like, before we get into some of that, which we are going to get into a little bit more detail, and we're going to drop some golden nuggets for you guys on how to overcome some of those things and put some better copywriting, better headline writing, better ad writing into your portfolio for your marketing and grow your business a lot better. But before we get into that, I just want to kind of give you a little preamble of what to expect today. We don't have a formal presentation, but I wrote some talking points here. So what we're going to discuss today is, well, first of all, we want to introduce you to Bolder Future, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Our new brand, and yeah, this is kind of the kickoff for Bolder Future. So we're going to tell you a little bit about that. Not really that you're interested in, you know, Bolder Future per se, but we want you to understand what it is that we stand for and how we created that brand. Because you guys might be trying to create your own brands, and this goes to the very essence of how you end up creating ads and writing copy. You have to have the message right within the mission and what it is that you're trying to do with your brand and who you stand for and how you help people, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so that's really important.
Cut in there, like really quickly, with our attention spans being where they're at, and they're just getting worse and worse and worse. Squirrel, I just saw one go by. Anyways, that was a bad joke, but I mean, you need to, within your brand, in its name and its tagline, you need to catch that person right then and there. If they have any thought process in their head, like, what are these people talking about? What do they stand for? If they can't figure that out within, you know, less than 5 seconds, you've already lost them. So that's really focus in on that.
It's really key. Yeah, there's something in our brains that's called the reticular activator. You guys can Google it, read up on the reticular activator. But basically, that's what, when people talk about a pattern interrupt, or Dan Kennedy, as we'll talk about in a little bit here, he talks about the disrupt interrupt, which is an even harsher pattern interrupt. That's what it's all about. It's about waking up that portion of your brain called the reticular activator, because we all kind of tend to walk around in this haze. It's called alpha mode. And you can liken it to, if you've ever driven your car and you're on this route that you take all the time, you know, you might spend a half an hour driving and you get home and you realize, hey, I can't remember making all the turns. Have you ever had that happen? But yet somehow you made it home because you just did it. You were on autopilot. You know, maybe your brain was thinking and that kind of thing. You were doing all kinds of stuff and you don't even know how you got home. Well, but if all of a sudden, you know, there's this fire truck that comes racing out in front of you with the horn blazing and the sirens going and everything, that all of a sudden kicks you awake and you definitely realize where you are at that moment in time. And that's called kicking that reticular activator. You got to wake people up, hit that disrupt interrupt kind of thing.
And kind of like Will Ferrell in Old School when he blacks out and doing the debating.
Exactly.
I don't know. Actually, nothing like that. But I thought that was funny.
Right. So we want to introduce you to the brand Bolder Future, what we stand for, and how we serve people like you, and how we stand up for people like you. We also want to honor a gentleman, a very honorable gentleman named Brian Kurtz, who I'm embarrassed to say I didn't even really know him up until about a month ago, but he's definitely a big catalyst in making our change from Titans of Marketing to Bolder Future, which I think is actually, in the end, it ended up being a good thing, but we sweated it out for quite a while. And Brian could have actually sicked his lawyers on us, really. Yep. And at one time, he almost thought about doing it. I know his lawyer said, hey, Brian, just tell me when you want me to launch the letter over to these guys, because they're obviously
Well, looks like we lost Shane there. So I'll continue on. Yeah, so we were talking about how we became Bolder Future and how it ended up being Brian Kurtz. So I got some stuff here because Brian he's an amazing man. And he had a thing called the Titans of Direct Response, okay? The Titans of Direct Response was a huge, huge event that he ended up putting together with, the best of the best from Dan Kennedy, Gary Vencevanga, Ken McCarthy, David Deutsch. I'm just going through this whole entire packet that he sent us. Now, you can see, this is all swipe copy. When we're talking about how important copy is and what it is to your message, this is the stuff that makes millions of dollars. It's the copy, being able to sell somebody not face to face, but them just reading your words. Okay. So yeah, Brian had Titans of Direct Response. Okay. This is even more stuff. This is a package. This is how you want to package your goods. He sent us over this $2,000 package of all of these books. We got DVDs. I got books. This is how much of a good guy Brian is, that he sent us this stuff, because previously our brand was Titans of Marketing, which stemmed from working with Robin Sharma and his team. And he has the whole theory about being a Titan in business and life. And we really took a liking to that. And through, our conversing with each other, what ended up happening is we came and settled on the name of Titans of Marketing. Not that we're the Titans of Marketing, it's just that the people that we serve and everybody that we work with, they're the Titans, okay? So long story short, going on Fiverr and going on 99 Designs, looking for designers of our brand, I think we got Shane back. There he is. We lost you.
I don't know, it just lost the stream. All of a sudden it went blank.
That's all right. I'll continue on. So
all right.
I was just showing them, the huge packet of stuff that Brian sent us and how generous he was to be able to.
That's a nice big package there, Ryan.
Yeah, basically it's better than it's better than a college education right there. If you just studied these packets right here, you can make millions and millions of dollars. And that is not an understatement. That is the absolute damn truth. And so we settled on Titans of Marketing, working with, Robin Sharma and his team. And we really took a liking to his message about, being a Titan in life and business. So we developed Titans of Marketing. We went on Fiverr. We went on 99 Designs. After we got those designs back, we then went to our tribe of people in our private Facebook group, our clients, and some of our customers. And we asked them, just let us know which one you like, which one you feeling, blah, blah, blah. And it was pretty much like 80% they like this one logo. Well, long and short of it, this logo right here looks pretty much exactly like ours. But at the time, we didn't, we weren't trying to infringe. We didn't really even pay attention. Part is pretty silly because he had the best marketers and copywriters in the world living today at his event. Looks like we lost Shane one more time. So after the fact of that, I got a call one day, and actually a text message. And what I'll do here, guys, if you guys haven't read it yet, give me 1 second here. Let me go on to our website, boulderfuture.com, to our blog, where we actually just posted a brand new blog detailing everything that we've gone through to recreate this new brand of Boulder Future. Long and short of it, Brian texted me on Facebook saying, hey, basically, why are you stealing my stuff? Like, you basically stole our logo and you're using it. Why are you doing that? Well, unbeknownst to us, we didn't even notice. And then when we took a look at Brian's logo, sure enough, they look pretty damn similar. So, that was a Friday night at like 10:30. He sent this. And before we even met, we messaged back and forth, and we decided, hey, let's talk over this on the phone. Let's have a meeting together, because basically, things can get lost through text, especially through private chat. So what we did was, even before we had that meeting on Monday, me and Shane talked to each other, and we were like, obviously this isn't good. So let's make the decision and let's just axe the brand. Like, that's it. we invested a good amount of money in it, and it was about 10 months, 11 months old. I think we're going on about a year right now since.
It's a year in the making, that's for sure.
Because Robin's launch was around Halloween last year, so that's when we developed the name. And long story short of it, we just said, hey, all right, we're going to stop all advertising campaigns. We're going to stop doing any promotions with Titans marketing. We're not going to use it. I'm going to strip it from everywhere we can until we develop Bolder Future. And what did we do? Instead of going to 99 Designs or Fiverr this time, maybe Shane can pick it up from here. Instead of going from 99 Designs and Fiverr this time, we reached out to the best of the best, in our opinion, in the online marketing space and creating brands, which is a man named Rob Cicadas.
Yeah, Rob was. He's a pretty amazing guy. He's done a lot of artwork and graphics design for big companies you guys probably know of. Companies like ClickFunnels. He does all the stuff for the ClickFunnels blogs and all the product launches for Russell Brunson. He's done stuff for Frank Kern, Brendan Bouchard. I mean, the guy is he's amazing. You can't call this guy a graphic artist. I mean, he's a true artist. He's a professional in every sense of the word. But the great thing about him is that he really gets business and marketing. And so he blends his artistic capability with the ability to pull that into his art to make people it's kind of like copy inside of art, right? I mean, he really does persuade with his art. And I think, as you can see from some of the stuff that we've been posting on our recent blog posts, it really depicts our brand. But here's the key, guys. You can't just go to an artist or a graphic person and say, hey, create me a brand, here's the name. You need to understand the essence behind it. So we actually created a document. It's available on the blog post that we put up. This is the document. It's just a 3 or 4 page document outlining the essence of our brand. Things like our core focus, our purpose statement. And some of these things seem kind of like, inconsequential. You'd think, I don't.
And he's gone again. Oh, man. These Canadian connections.
Canada or something. I'm on Fiverr. I have 300 megabit download. I don't know why it's causing a problem.
It's funny. I did blame it on Canada as soon as you went off.
Must be there. It's a dog sled transporting the fiber across or something. But yeah, I just wanted to point out a couple of things in the branding document. You can go online and see it just like Ryan just said. But I mean, basically, this is really the true essence behind the brand that you're creating and the message that you're delivering to your market. So it's really important to define what your purpose is and your core focus. Like, who do you serve and how do you serve them? So for us, for example, it's what we do for clients is really we increase customer value by building assets through automation marketing. That's kind of the boring part. But in terms of our market niche, we support high energy, fast implementers, business owners and entrepreneurs who really want to make a difference beyond just their business and impact their market and their cause and contribute to that cause and really support their contingency. And that's what Ryan and I are about. And one of the key things that really defines that is we always talk about success loves speed and results trump everything. And in our brand and just the way that we do everything we do every day, with whether it's a private client that we're doing a product launch for, or it's somebody, a coaching student in one of our coaching academies, this is something that we're really key on, is that we have, no matter what, we do everything possible to get the results that they want to get. So if that means doing 4 different funnels and split testing them to make sure that we're getting the right stuff, and by that I don't mean necessarily just conversion to a lead or conversion to signing up for your webinar or conversion to downloading your free report. I'm talking about return on ad spend, which really means, and this is core, this is like right in our heart, this is us through and through, is that we have to be able to get people results. And we talk about this a lot in our webinars and presentations and stuff. And some of you guys have probably heard this before, that we are very much against the Kardashian marketing style. We're not slick presenters, as you can see from my live stream cutting out all the time here. And I don't have a set presentation. I don't have a big slick talk. I'm speaking from the heart. I'm speaking from what we know works and in terms of how we get results. And we always, no matter what, we always start with when somebody's doing a pitch, whether it's on a sales page or a webinar presentation or whatever it might be, we always say, okay, well, let's start with, where have you gotten somebody the best results before in your past, in terms of whatever your magic thing is that you do? And let's start with that. And like we just had in our impact coaching calls, which is our high-end private coaching, we do a call every week with individual clients. And we had a guy that came on, and we said this very question to him. And he said, you know what? He said, I've spent so much money getting coaches in the past, and no one has ever asked me this. Like this, it was just like it was a revelation to him that we would ask, where have you gotten those results before? And then we kind of dive into it. And as copywriters, that's our job, is to dig in and figure out what is your unique spin on what you do. And a lot of cases, people just don't see it because they're immersed in their own business so deeply that they can't see the uniqueness of it. So our thing that we do with Bolder Future is we can dig into that and figure out what is that unique spin that they have, and pull out things and tell them about it, things that they don't see themselves. And then that becomes their copy. So for you guys, over the next week, we're going to do one of these little Blab live streams or Periscope if this one doesn't work out, whatever is going to work out. And we're going to show you a few techniques that will help you bring out that unique spin and help you kick on that reticular activator and hit the disrupt pattern interrupt for people to wake them the hell up and want to do something with you. You know, you've got to have that persuasive quality. One of the guys that we're going to talk about is Dan Kennedy, and he often goes even further than talking about persuasion. He talks about manipulation. And really that's what it's about, because when it comes to writing copy and selling and converting people to do business with you, it's about making them do something that they don't really want to do. People don't want to change, right? They're happy doing what they're doing, even if it's in a place of pain. And it's an unfortunate thing about all us humans, but we're often afraid of that change and don't want to take the steps or do the work to make it happen, right?
100%.
So that's key to our brand and who we are. We're against the Kardashian marketers. You know, look at me, I'm fancy and I'm on a podcast, or I'm doing these videos, and you can see me all over the place, and you know, I'm famous, but really they're famous for being famous. And we've been caught up in that before, right, Ryan? We've spent money hiring coaches, and we've also done promotions for clients where they're kind of like Kardashian marketing style people. And what ends up happening is they look really good on the surface. So they kick in and make people make a decision based on an emotional thing, but then they don't follow up with real substance later and make sure that they get results. And what ends up happening is those people don't stick around for very long. And the one difference that Ryan and I have with Bolder Future, the former Titans of Marketing, is we have a lot of loyal followings. And even the people that once they get to a level of maturity and they don't need us anymore, you know, they have their own teams or what have you, they go off and they've got a running built asset that keeps producing for them that we help them build. So that's kind of what we stand for. I think it's important to talk about that. It's important for us to tell you so you know how we stand up for you, but it's also important that you create that in your own brand and you create that message that becomes a common theme throughout all your advertising, right? So we're going to get into more of that as these blabs go on. What else do we want to talk about here at the notes? I want to make sure we cover everything.
Yeah, where are we at on the notes?
Let's talk about. Let's talk a little bit about Titans of Direct Response. And I think when I cut out, you were talking about Brian Kurtz and who Titans of Direct Response is. Do we need to do anything more there? Yeah,
I mean, you definitely. You love yourself some Titans of Direct Response and some copywriting. I was just basically just holding up and just saying, like, the packets of gold in here, the controls and the copy is just spectacular. And he put together an amazing event with, you know, the best of the best copywriters in the world. Probably the last time ever all of these people get together live. And, you know, they've packaged it up into great take-home piece, what I'm showing you here, which is like a 20-pound box of just pure gold.
It is
now
good.
That's the DVD collection, and then there's also and just an online course that they have as well. So if anybody's interested in that, what we've decided to do is take whatever is earned from, if anybody decides to buy these packages, which if you go read that blog post that I posted, there are links in there to go to get the packages, have them at your house in probably about 48 hours if you do the drop ship version of this. And we're going to take that money and we're going to donate that to charity. Brian's going to do the same. And, we really want to make some positive out of, what happened with Titans of Marketing and infringing on Titans of Direct Response without us knowing and everything that happened. So we really want to make something positive out of it. So definitely I would suggest you go read that blog post. I mean, that's going to be the one call to action right now is I'll post a link in here again, which would be go check out this blog post, learn from it, because also what we had on there is Rob gave us his top 10 do's and don'ts with branding. And then, once you get your brand in place, the next thing is now you need some copy in place to start selling people on how you help them and how you serve them. And that's really what the essence of Titans of Direct Response is, with the best of the best.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I want to drop some teachable moments for these guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Each one of these live sessions that we do, I want to drop at least one little teachable moment. So I'm going to talk to you about one that we're going to get into a little bit more detail tomorrow. But I thought out of all of them, Brian Kurtz had an amazing presentation. And you're going to see this if you get the Titans of Direct Response. But I really love Dan Kennedy. He's the guy is he's a salty old curmudgeon kind of a guy, but he has got some pure gold in terms of teachable moments.
Got the goods.
One of the ones that I thought was great, he talks about his seven dark arts devices of manipulation triggers. And I would love to be able to tell you guys in detail what all of those 7 are, but I can't give that out because that's the gold that's in the package. But I want to drop one little thing that I think that Brian Kurtz would be cool with, because I think giving a little bit of content on every one of these things is a great thing to do. But so Dan talks about how you have to agitate your target audience. You don't want to agitate them to the point where, a lot of people will say, should I use a negative approach or a positive approach on my headline? Well, the right answer is neither, right? If you're coming at it from a negative approach, which probably you should, because they're there to solve some kind of a problem, so there has to be some kind of a negative aspect to your copywriting and your headline. But you can't do it without giving them a little bit of relief, or at least hinting at a little bit of relief. So he says, basically puts it in words that you need to agitate them, you need to grind their gears, but you need to hit on a pre-existing condition that's already pissing them off. So in other words, if you have to sell it, if you have to create demand for whatever it is that you're selling, then you've already lost before you started, right? Because now you have to convince them that they actually have a problem before you can sell them. And that's a long approach. There is ways of doing that, but it's a long approach to doing it in a direct marketing thing, where if you're selling on a webinar or something, it's not going to be the best way to convert and to persuade. So he says, don't sell and then try to prove it. Hit on that pre-existing condition to persuade. And he actually says one of the ways to do that, he actually gives a great example. He said, here's one where he talks about like a restaurant, which is, this is where Ryan and I kind of got our start. We did a lot of local business marketing, and we both did restaurants and hotels and that kind of thing. He said, with restaurant copy, what a lot of marketers will do is they'll talk about features and benefits, right? Which is, that's standard protocol for copywriting. But in terms of features and benefits for a restaurant, it would be something like how to fill seats in your restaurant, right? Sell more meals, that kind of thing. But that's really about the speeds and feeds. When I was in the corporate world consulting on solutions, we would call it, if a salesperson showed up to do a presentation and they started talking about features and benefits, we called it the show up and throw up routine. And nobody listened, right? Everyone checked out. You're checking your cell phones, you're messaging each other back, making jokes about the poor salesman who's in the front there. Speeds and feeds never converts. It never sells. So with restaurant copy, he said, what's better is to talk about something like, talk about how Bob and Jane, the owners of this previous restaurant, were working with you, and now they've been doing this for 6 months, and now they're at the point where they're taking multiple vacations, and they've got these escapes that they build in where they can get away from their restaurants. Well, that's touching on an emotional core gut thing, because for restaurants owners, if you know anything about them, they don't get any time off. They're freaking working their asses off every day just trying to keep the bills paid and keep the doors open. So if you are talking to that person who's a restaurant owner, they know deep, deep, deep within them, this is an emotional, visceral thing, that they don't get vacations. They don't get time for themselves. They don't get time for each other. So if you talk to them at that level, then you're getting yourself out of the speeds and feeds and features and benefits kind of thing. Now, features and benefits, it's still necessary, right? You've still got to do that logical stuff, but you want to touch on that emotional stuff first and then follow up with the logic later. It's still necessary. But Dan is funny because he actually said in one of the videos in the Titans of Direct Response, he said, barely competent copywriters will list out the mechanics of copywriting, and they'll default it in their copywriting style, and you can see it a mile away. They'll talk about product or service. They'll talk about features and benefits. They'll talk about credibility and facts. They'll talk about the offer structure and the proposition, the price presentation, and then guarantee and minimize the risk. He said it's like standard stuff, which you do have to do, but that's not what's going to convert. That's not what's going to persuade. And as Dan says, it's not what's going to manipulate. So I hope that gives you a nice little golden teachable moment for today.
Yeah, that's a good one. Absolutely. And I think that's a good one to end on too.
Yeah.
So
I just want to mention, we've probably gone a little bit over time because of my, sorry about my stream going out there. But I just wanted to mention one thing about if you decide to get the Titans of Direct Response, which I think anyone who's in our audience, everyone should have this, because you need to get better at copywriting if you want to run ads and grow your business. If you want better conversions and more sales, it's necessary. You don't have to actually become a professional copywriter, but all of us in our businesses need to get better and better with copyright. I keep copywriting books right here. One of my first books I ever read 12 years ago when I started writing my own ads for my own business was Claude C. Hopkins' My Life in Advertising and Scientific Advertising. That thing stays here on my shelf right here beside me. It's got dog ears. It's got notes. It's like, it's a golden Bible for me. So, I mean, everyone should have this kind of thing. But if you do decide that you're going to buy it, what Ryan and I have decided to do is we're going to use part of the proceeds to pay for the cost of going through this rebranding, because it was quite expensive. But we want to dedicate or donate 50% of our proceeds to charity. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the charity that we're going to be doing this with. We haven't actually named it yet, but we're working with somebody behind the scenes to do this. And there must have been some kind of a message from above or something, because as I started watching the videos in Titans of Direct Response, this guy named Dr. Kenny Handelman appeared at the event, at the live event. He was up at the mic asking questions. And Dr. Kenny Handelman, I actually have his book right here, wrote a book called Attention Difference Disorder. And one of the things that, if you've been following along with some of our blog posts and emails that we've been writing, you know that one of my sons suffers from attention deficit disorder, or at least that's what they say. I don't really think that it's a thing. I think what it is that it's just something where people that are like us, high energy, make it or break it, get things done kind of people. We just want to focus on getting things done, and we don't want to sit in a class and listen to somebody drone on about, trivial stuff. Well, he's like that, and he struggled for a lot of years. So this year we finally let him, he's been asking us for a few years to just quit school. He's only just turned 16 years old, just started grade 11. And so we finally let him do that. And so he's doing correspondence at home to still get his education. However, in the meantime, on his own, probably picking up from some of the stuff that Ryan and I do, because he hears us doing these kinds of meetings, and I've taught them how to do, how to set up marketing and do websites and all that kind of stuff since they were about 10 years old. Well, on his own, he picked up the entrepreneurial spirit, and him and his brother, who's the artistic creative, they created an e-commerce store. And they have their own business, and they've now gone through selling 3 different shipments they've sold out of their product. So he's created his own business. He's out there negotiating with suppliers. He's got 3 big, look, I'm in the Toronto GTA area here. He's got 3 big EDM DJs. One guy who's opening for somebody big, and he mentioned it the other day, and I apologize, but I can't remember who it was. Big giant concert. They've got thousands of followers on Instagram now, and he's done this all in the last 60 days. Great. So what I want to do is I want to donate 50% of our proceeds to a charity organization. I don't know if it's going to be the ADHD National Center or something else, but I've reached out to Dr. Kenny Handelman and said, hey, can you help us put something together? I want to help these kids because I can see the passion in my own son's eyes when he starts being entrepreneurial and making shit happen in the business world. And he's learning at a rate that's like 10 billion times faster than he can at school. So I want to put some money towards helping these kind of kids because I know there's a lot of them out there that struggle. But if you can just find the right thing for them, and I think entrepreneurialism is a key for them because they're high energy, they're high impact, they want to make things happen. It's just that they're, when they go to school, they feel like they're downshifted into a lower gear and aren't able to accomplish the things that I know they can. So if you decide to invest in this, we're going to put 50% of the proceeds towards charity. So you're going to be helping not only kids, but you're going to be helping our next generation of entrepreneurs just like us. So is that cool or what?
Very cool. That's what I'm thinking.
All right.
Awesome. I mean, for a good cause.
For sure. All right. So I think that's enough for today. Tomorrow, we're going to get into some more stuff with Dan Kennedy. I dropped you a nice little bomb here today. We're going to get into a little bit more of the stuff that he talks about without giving away the whole camp, because obviously we want you guys to go buy it. If you buy it, you're going to see there's, I don't even know how many hours. I haven't even gotten through all of the content yet myself, but there's hours and hours. There's actually 2 different things that you can get. You can get the DVD edition, which is the full package that comes with all these books that Ryan was talking about earlier. And it's got tons and tons of swipe copy. You get these DVDs, the whole bit. And there's, I don't know, probably about 10 different talks and interviews and panelists and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, stuff that is
Ryan and I always, we never recommend something unless we've used it in our own business. And this is something that all of us need, is to get better at writing copy and writing our ads so that we convert better. And I know it's going to help you guys. And that's how we stand up for you guys and support our audience. So did we give them a link to, we need to give them a link if they want to.
Yeah.
Let me just I'll grab both links so you can decide. Obviously the one that comes with all of the DVDs and recordings plus all the swipe copy, it costs more than just getting the digital version. But, like I said, it's your choice. Here's the digital version. Give you that link. All right. So that's the digital version, and let me grab the DVD one. And the other thing too is just like hit that landing page that they have. This landing page was written and rewritten by some of the best copywriters in the world. So read it and learn from it. At least if you're not going to buy it, at least read through this and try to emulate some of this copy. It's amazing.
Yeah, and if you do get the non-digital version that comes with this 20-pound box of goodness, all this stuff you can't find this anywhere else. You're not going to find it anybody else selling it. I don't think whenever it's gone, it's gone. They literally got special permission from Boardroom Inc. to get the top 25 best converting packages, which is direct mail pieces where people open up, they go through and they have great copywriting and all of it. And obviously, because it sold millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and then they mailed over 50, probably over 100 million people combined with all these packages. So obviously you're not going to be direct mailing people if it wasn't making money. So it's gold.
Sure.
It's gold, guys. And we really appreciate you coming on today, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. So tomorrow it's at 8 p.m. Eastern. So it's going to be after hours. So in case people aren't able to join during the day, we're going to make that available. It's going to be, topic is going to be about direct copy and some of the stuff that Dan Kennedy's talked about. And then the good news is that we have a little surprise too, right? Should we tell them the surprise now or wait till tomorrow?
Wait.
Okay. We have a really cool surprise, but it's not completely confirmed. So we're gonna announce that tomorrow at 8:00. So make sure you're on the live stream blab. Then we'll be posting it in the group. So make sure you're in there or on our email list. All right, guys.
Great day.
Thanks a lot. Peace out. Talk to you.